need you to kind of think about the movie and what you've observed in here today, and I need you to tell me some things you've observed and you know about food and this culture. So what are some things that you know about this culture, the Mississippian culture and food? Liam? That's okay, honey. That's okay. I'll come back to you. Annie?
The women did not wear anything to cover this part.
Okay, now I know you're talking about that quite a bit. Okay. What have you noticed about food and the women?
They use a lot of corn.
A lot of corn?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
What did they do with the
had
corn?
Too much, they put it in this house. It's probably the one in that picture over there with
You mean they would store it?
the one that has the one that's almost to the very top.
Okay.
And
Now, do you know who lives up there?
the very, very top one, the chief lives there.
Okay.
And they say, in that picture over there, that he, they say that he had to send, I think, prayers to the sun.
Okay. All right.
But I also know this isn't about food, but they didn't really worship the person. Well, they didn't really worship the sun. They worshiped the person behind.
Oh, that's right. Do you remember when we watched that movie they talked about that? What? Right, exactly. Well, okay, anything else you're noticing about the food? Did you notice anything about the venison, the deer, how they process any of their foods? Nat?
They cut off the deer's head.
Okay, what were they doing?
They were getting all the stuff out of it.
Okay, all right. Liam? Big voice, honey, so I can hear you.
They have a lot of corn, and they dry the fish out.
Okay, I noticed they were drying quite a bit. What else were they drying? They had fish drying. Did you notice where they had the deer?
Deer.
They were also drying meat up there, weren't they? Have you guys ever had jerky before?
And they were drying pumpkin rings.
Oh, that's right.
And herbs.
And herbs. Why do you think they dried?
Big sunflowers hanging down.
Oh.
That's the sunflower.
Why would they dry sunflowers?
Sunflower seeds.
Sunflower seeds. Are seeds a good source of protein?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Anything else you notice about the food? Andre? Big voice, sugar.
But to trade off for stuff to build their houses or to make stuff just in corn for the meat.
Okay, so they ate some of the meat, but some of the meat was traded to other communities for tools and things? Okay. All right.
Jack W. and I read something interesting. Jack, do you remember what we saw where there was the woman in the diagram grinding the corn?
What was that? Oh, I might have missed that. What was it?
A girl was grinding a corn with the rock, but little bits of the rock, when she's grinding, it gets in the corn, and when she eats those little bits of rock, their teeth wore out.
Oh, wow. Isn't that interesting? Did you guys all hear that? So, what got into the corn when she was grinding it?
Little piece of rock.
Rock. So, if you're chewing, if you're eating rock, what's that going to do to your teeth?
Grind it down.
So, did they have very good teeth?
No.
Oh, that's really fascinating. I didn't know that at all. That's why what? That's why their teeth are gone? Well, and I wonder, I think JW said something the other day about maybe what they ate had something to do with why there aren't any Mississippians anymore, right? Did you say your dad was doing some reading? What did he say?
He said that they overdid their community. They overdid the community.
You mean the dirt, the soil?
They probably caught too much fish and stuff.
Okay. Or
For that many.
Okay, or something. You said something about the soil, and you know,
They overcropped.
they did too many crops. Yeah, I'm wondering if we didn't talk to a farmer, if the farmer could tell us a little bit about how they're supposed to do crops. You know, can you plant the same thing on the ground all the time and expect it to grow really well? I don't know. So maybe it did have something to do with their crops. So, John?
Mississippians hunted, gathered, grew, and stored enough food to sustain a massive population.
Yeah, and I think this is a really interesting little exhibit right here. So there's nuts too. Did you guys notice that there was nuts over black walnut pieces, over actual black walnut pieces they found? So nuts were obviously a big portion of their diet, and pecans. All of those are native to this area. So, Andre? So you think disease, okay. Well, yeah, apparently maybe they weren't so healthy. You know, they didn't have healthy teeth. So maybe some kind of disease came in. And the movie did mention that. Maybe that's the mystery we're trying to solve here, is what happened to them.
There's a little box over there in this wall that says the heading is nutrition. Maybe somebody could read that very first sentence. Someone who's over there, Alex. Do you think you could read that first sentence?
Read it real loud, buddy.
The high
Carbohydrate.
low protein diet of the Mississippians was not
Nutritionally.
balanced.
So the high carbohydrate,
Low
low
protein.
protein diet of the Mississippians was not nutritionally balanced. You guys know what carbohydrates are?
Sort of. Well, yes.
We studied carbohydrates a little bit. One carbohydrate, we know there are different types of carbohydrates, but one of them is sugar. So what do you think? Do you think that corn would be like a protein or a carbohydrate? No? Both, maybe?
Maybe we need to investigate corn a little bit and see what it's made up of.
Yeah. I think that would be worth it.
Yeah, foods that have protein, because it says they ate low protein, high carb.
High
Well,
energy.
high energy.
Carbohydrates give you energy.
Where do we get protein?
Nuts.
From what?
Nuts.
Nuts, okay.
Apples.
Beans. Beans have protein. Meat. Do we get protein from fruit? I don't know. I would have to look and see. But I bet there is sugar in fruit, don't you think? Natural sugars.
But isn't natural sugar good for you? Yes.
Is it? Do we need? What do you think?
I think it is.
Everything in moderation, right? So, but it says their diet wasn't balanced. They weren't getting very much protein, and their teeth were not very good. And the movie said that they had diseases. Interesting. Okay. All right. Well, is there anything else you guys want to point out while we're in here? Do you want to point out the tool?
A really important part of the Cahokian life was the use of a hoe. Why? What's a hoe? Then?
It's like something you use in your garden.
Yeah, gardening. What does it do, Natalie?
Helps plant your
Right. And that was a big part of the Cahokian culture here, is the making of hoes, and they actually would trade them with other Indians, other tribes. They were experts at making hoes. It's one of the reasons why their culture flourished here, because they were able to dig in the sod, right? Cultivate, plant, and keep the weeds out by the use of a hoe. How do you think the hoe was made? Thomas?
Nathan.
wood. Maybe like wood.
Yeah, so it had a wood handle. And what was the blade?
Like steel or metal.
No, they didn't have steel or metal.
Rock.
Yeah, what kind of rock? Anybody know? It was made of flint. Okay? It was very strong. And would chip the edges off, make a very sharp point, very sharp hoe, so they could till the soil. Okay. Without a hoe, what would you have? What wouldn't you have? What? We wouldn't have crops. Right. So it's really important to go all the way back to the source and realize that without a hoe, there's no food.
And tools are important.
Tools are important. Food tools.
Yep.